बेसिकली पूरा मेरे हिसाब से इसके सी जाएगा। ये क्या करने की कोशिश कर रही है? लगभग पहुंच ही गए। चलो इससे बात करते हैं पहले साइड क्वेस्ट। एक्चुअली नहीं, मुझे बात करनी चाहिए। ये मैप है कोई? कौन है ये? न्यू क्वेस्ट अननोन, पता नहीं वो बंदी कहाँ है अभी। तो इससे ही शुरू करते हैं। मैं पेट्रस से शुरू करना चाहता था पर छोड़ दो।
What happened to you?
That damn mine is what happened to me. Won't be the last injury if Olvin keeps shoving those tongs into those tunnels.
What mine?
Northeast of Chainscape, where the river ends. I told Corvin we should stop when the first cave-in happened, but Olvin probably threatened to cut off our pay. Or worse.
How about you slow down and take me through it?
इंजरी के बारे में पहले पता लगाते हैं, फिर कॉर्वेंट, आखिर में अल्वेंड। चूटिया, अल्वेंड चूटिया लग रहा है। उसके बारे में आखिर में बात करते हैं।
You mentioned you were injured in a cave-in.
Yeah, a couple days ago. That's how I hurt this blasted leg. Corvin and the others were opening a new vein while I was checking on an older one. As soon as their blast hit, tunnel I was in collapsed. Might have dodged it if I wasn't running on barely a spark of sleep. We were pushing too hard and too fast.
And you're afraid Corvind and the others might not be as lucky if it happens again.
Mm-hmm. Hit the nail right on the head.
कॉर्वेंट सही बंदा लग रहा है गाइस, इसके बारे में इतना वरी कर रहा है तो परेशान हो रहा है।
Who's Corvind?
He's their foreman, and a damn good one. The kind that knows how to deal with management when it gets unreasonable. But Olvend, his demands go beyond unreasonable. Corvin's been doing his best to appease him. He even blamed himself for my injury when it was Olvend who the extra shifts.
Sounds like a good guy.
That's why we all put up with the long hours and lousy conditions. But if the whole mine becomes unstable, I'd rather suffer Olvin's wrath than die buried in rubble.
और अब इसके बारे में पता लगाते हैं। पेट्रा ने भी इसके के बारे में अच्छी बात नहीं की, गाली भी नहीं दी वैसे तो, पर देखते हैं ये क्या बोलता है इसके बारे में।
How come Olvin's in charge? Don't these mines belong to the Karja?
Try telling Olvin that. He brought in all the backing to get them open. Might as well own them. Fire and spit. You ask him. He owns us as well.
चलो चलो अब हम इससे बोलते हैं कि मदद करते हैं।
I could check in on your crew if I'm in the area.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
क्रिम्सन डीप ट्रबल। और देखता हूँ क्या क्या उठा सकता हूँ। ये भूल गया था कि ये शहर के अंदर, वेल ये गांव है, शहर नहीं, उठाने की चीज़ें होती हैं। वो देख, जैसे उधर मेरा नहीं है पर मैं उठा ले रहा हूँ। यहाँ पे एक चेस्ट है पर वो नहीं खोल पा रहे हैं। और ये अननोन वो भी जाके देखना है एक बार। ये कुछ भी, ओह शिट, ना बाहर नहीं अभी। इससे देखता हूँ। नहीं नहीं नहीं, मैं इससे ना बात नहीं कर सकता। बहुत अच्छा है। ये है 36 स्टेप्स दूर।
Bristlebacks threaten us all. Oh, drop the act. We all know it was the Karja who let the Bristlebacks in alley, sent them straight through the gates of barren light. That is preposterous.
Why would we let dangerous machines into our own land?
You mean the land that honest Osram laborers work tirelessly with no say in its governance? The land that, should you sign and decree,
Damned concession decree.
would be managed by the people who actually live and work on it.
मतलब अलवुंड ये बेसिकली फोर्स कर रहा है ताकि वो करे, क्योंकि यही बेसिकली वर्कर्स का कुछ नहीं है, ये उनका लीडर है.
What do you want, Olvund? Some kind of payment?
My dear magistrate, you think I can be bought? If you want that whistle blown, all you have to do is have your soldiers remove the bristlebacks and sign the concession decree. Face it, what other choice do you have?
Hi.
Savior, what auspicious timing. Might we discuss a matter of important to the Sundom?
We might. Later.
Very well. I shall be waiting.
So, the savior herself, Walloper of Derval, gutter of youth.
Maybe.
I've heard many tales of your beauty and heroics, my fierce lady warrior. Olfant Freeholder, at your service. So, what could have dragged you away from the fine silks and wine of Meridian to this smudge of a settlement? Your saviorly attention must be needed elsewhere.
I'm here for the embassy and...
The embassy? Why, by the forge. Ah. Greater gears for greater matters. Guess that means you'll be moving on.
Once I've dealt with any problems around here that need my saviorly attention.
Ah, the bristlebacks, of course. Got to get rid of them if you want that embassy to take place. Well, best get to it, hey? And off you go.
Not so fast. You don't seem to have a high opinion of the magistrate?
Well, I refuse to play nice to some fancy-robed parchment pusher when my fellow laborers are being bullied, intimidated, and taken advantage of.
How noble of you.
Noble, ha! Born with a hammer in hand I was. Nobody handed me anything or dropped opportunity into my lap. Everything I've achieved, I've done on my own.
And where is this hammer now?
The burden of leadership forced me to set it aside. The Karja risk nothing, while demanding that good Osram gamble with their lives out there. Someone had to step up and say no more.
जैसे ये कुछ अलग कर रहा है, ये उनसे भी बुरा कर रहा है बल्कि, पर ऐसा ही होता है. क्या देखने की कोशिश करिए अलग अंदर. सही था ये, ऐसा इंटरेक्शन सही लगा यार.
You ordered the work stoppage?
Indeed I did. We're laborers, not soldiers. Until the Karja clean up their mess and give us the fair deal we deserve, I'm not risking Osram lives.
Fair deal? You mean your concession decree?
It's not my decree. It's on behalf of all the good Osram laborers of this land who do all the back-breaking work, while only the Karja reap the rewards. All we're asking for is the ability to share in this prosperity for a land worked by the people, for the people.
Right. And just how much would be your share?
Only an amount appropriate to my contributions to this community, of course.
बेसिकली पूरा मेरे हिसाब से इसका सी जाएगा. ये क्या करने की कोशिश कर रही है?
If Chainscape is on Karja land, charge? Who appointed you?
The sensibilities of good Osram folk, of course. You think a Karja can head this whole venture? Ah! The magistrate can barely make the trek from Barren Light without losing a few screws.
So you have no real authority then? People only follow you because you say so. Loudly.
Anyone who has followers has authority. I've been with Chainscape from the beginning. I mean, I'm practically its founder, and its honest folk know I'm indispensable to its success.
फाउंडिंग ऑफ चेंज, ये तो बाद में आया था ना. आपने पूरे सारे गुंडे लेके पूरे कब्जा कर दिया था इसने.
You said you founded Chainscape. Somehow I doubt that.
Practically founded, I said. I alone saw its potential when it was just a smattering of tents in barren light shadow. I invested in the mine, convinced some friends back home to do the same, and here we are. You could say Chainscape is what it is thanks to me.
Oh, so you're not just standing around and profiting off everyone else?
Not at all. Sure, I make a little return on my investment here and there, but my main priority, as it was from the beginning, is to look after the well-being of these honest, working Osram.
और कोई डायलॉग नहीं है अब.
Where's the whistle?
Right in the middle of town, but with the threat out there, I'm endangering innocent Osram lives.
I'm going to clear out the bristlebacks. And when I'm done, this valley is gonna get moving.
If that's what it takes. Until then, I'll keep looking after the safety of these good folk.
Just be ready to blow the whistle. Better see what that Karja magistrate wanted. I bet he's in the tavern.
एक और आ गया क्या? पहले एक और यहाँ पे है तो उसके पास एक मिनट रुकना. एक और साइड क्वेस्ट. अबे यार. हाँ. इसके अंदर हाँ. ये टैवर्न है क्या? हाँ. एक ये है. आता हूँ. यहाँ पे क्या है? ओह पेट्रा. चलो. हाँ नहीं मिल्डर.
Hey, Milda. I took some of your stew last time I went into the wilds. Kept me going for a week. Felt like I could have put a strider in a sleeper hole.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Sounds like you're serving up some impressive provisions here.
Not again. You can have the discount too, but you'll have to come back later.
I think you have me confused with someone else.
Oven didn't send you?
No.
Oh, my apologies. It's just that his minions won't stop pestering me. Now I've even worn out my special grill. Since I'm in the midst of a crisis, perhaps you could skip to what it is you wanted?
Some of your food?
Of course.
ये इसका क्या होगा? साइड क्वेस्ट.
Are Ulvin's people causing you problems?
Oh, yeah. They constantly demand my best, but the equipment I need to make my signature dishes isn't built for batch cooking. And don't get me started on the Ulvin discount they feel so entitled to.
And if you refuse?
I make meals. No trouble.
How did you end up in Chainscape?
Heard about a new and upcoming town at the edge of the frontier. Where there's a town, there's a tavern. I was in need of work. So I got myself out here and started cooking. Some of these people had never tasted proper boars and berries stew before. Anyway, next thing I knew, people kept coming back. Guess they liked my food. But ale.
ये एक्सप्रेशंस लोगों के चेहरे में काफ़ी अच्छा है यार इसमें. मैं सही है ये एकदम.
Your last customer mentioned your cooking really kept him going out in the wild. Where I'm headed, I could use some of that.
I would be happy to oblige, especially since you have the decency to ask pleasantly. But my special groove griddle is no more. Without it, I can't cook any of my signature dishes. I hate to think what'll happen when I'm forced to refuse Ulvin or his goons. Even if I already had the right ingredients, there's nothing I can do. Unless you can source me a temporary replacement?
What do you need?
For the ingredients. A few pieces of decent wild meat, and I'd say a big handful of bitter leaf stems. That'll do. As for the griddle, a corrugated metal panel might suffice, until I can have a new one forged. You'd likely find one in a scrounger pile, if you follow the river to the northeast. Don't worry, I'll clean it first. You'll have no issue finding boars and bitter leaf on your way. Assuming you're as much a hunter-gatherer as your clothing suggests.
Thanks, Mildif. I'll keep an eye out.
So that's what gratitude sounds like.
And don't let anyone push you around, okay?
If you say so.
अब तक कैरेक्टर्स पसंद आ रहे हैं यार काफ़ी.
Just need to hunt for some wild meat and grab a metal panel from a scrounger pile.
इससे बात करता हूँ, यही है ना, जवाद द विलिंग।
Savior, thank you for taking the time. And my condolences that you had to endure Olvan's bloviating.
I've dealt with worse. It sounds like he's really trying to put you over the barrel.
The idea that the Karja purposely let bristlebacks into the Daunt, it's completely absurd. But the louder and longer he says it, the more support he'll get for his damned concession decree.
How did the bristlebacks get into the Daunt?
No one knows for sure. The first report of them came from west of the quarry. But unless they have wings I don't know about, I don't see how they could have come over the mountains.
No other way in.
The only way I know about is barren light. Look, if you can get to the bottom of this, I can offer a considerable bounty in return. Help me shut Olvend up.
ये कंसेशन डिग्री बात कर रहे हैं, ये एग्जैक्टली है क्या? इससे अल्वेंड का क्या, अल्वंद जो भी उसका नाम हो, क्या कैसे कितना फायदा होगा, क्या क्या होगा, क्या मिलेगा उसे?
What is this concession decree that Olvend wants?
He wants the Sundom to designate portions of the Daunt as Oseram holdings. Only the portions, mind you, that produce any value.
Let me guess. Because he stands to profit somehow?
Exactly. With the Daunt under Oseram law, he could secure more investment for their numerous ventures.
He can't get those investments without the concession?
No. Not while there's a chance the Sundom could revoke their access. Hence, why the concession is so important to him. And why blaming the Karja for the bristlebacks, no matter how absurd, works in his favor.
How did you get stuck out here?
I asked for the posting, believe it or not. Overseeing the entire valley on behalf of the Sun King? It was an honor. Is an honor, I mean.
But your job would be a lot easier without someone like Olvend blasting hot air all the time?
Olvend's not going anywhere. He's been around longer than I have. Even fancies himself the founder of Chainscape. I'll find a way to live with him. I have to.
How does blaming the Karja for the bristlebacks help Olvend get his concession?
Look around. This may be the Sundom, but Chainscape is all gears and rust and bad ale. Claiming that the Karja loosed the bristlebacks in order to intimidate Oseram laborers into obedience. Well, let's just say no one here has forgotten the atrocities of the mad Sun King. And with the bristlebacks bringing work in the valley to a halt, Olvend has plenty of time to pick at barely healed wounds.
And if the Oseram refuse to work, unless the concession is signed, you won't have a choice.
Correct. The reconstruction of Barren Light must continue.
You said the bristlebacks were first spotted west of the quarry?
Yes, according to one terrified laborer, said the ground trembled before they came charging down the hillside. He took off and ran all the way here.
Good place to start looking then.
If you learn the truth, maybe Olvend will stop blaming the Karja for every problem under the sun, and maybe then he'll actually focus on rebuilding Barren Light instead.
मुझे नहीं लगता उससे कोई इंटरेस्ट है ये बैरन लाइट को रिकंस्ट्रक्ट करने में।